Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Episode 42, the ride companion. We're in.
I
always say that. I always say that. I noticed that because when you edit a YouTube video, as you know, Benny, as you know, Davey, you sort of watch it over and over again. And I've noticed every time I start following someone on a GoPro, I always say, "We're in." It's really annoying.
Oh, we're in.
I can't stop doing it.
Yeah, I always used to say, "Drop it in." Anytime I dropped in behind someone, it'd just be weird. You'd be like, we're not on drop-in TV, just chill, dude. Don't you think it's weird that we're like going into people's ears and eyes, like as you put words out into the internet? It's
pretty weird. It is pretty weird.
It's weird. It's pretty weird.
I actually made the mistake. I didn't tell a drone operator that I was dropping in. So there was a train of people dropping into trails yesterday. Yeah. And I didn't tell him so he thought he was following the last guy and he was in front of me. So then he shit himself and like swerved off, came back round and followed me. Yeah, and then he hit me in midair. I've had so many close run-ins with drones.
Have you?
I honestly have. I really, I'll be honest, I'm really scared of drones.
Yeah, I've never ridden with a drone or been chased by a drone or anything with a drone. I've had zero drone experiences.
Dude, you know the damage that a tiny drone can do?
Yeah, there's little propellers. I guess if that hit you anywhere on the body, it's going to hurt.
Mate, it's no joke. Even like a proper like civilian drone, you know, like one that you can get from Curry's. Yeah. Benny, you ever cut your fingers or anything on drone? You've used drone quite a bit, haven't you?
Yeah. No, I don't think I have actually, but they are gnarly, like you say. Yeah. I don't think I've cut myself.
I was in. There was a really YOLO drone pilot when I was doing the tourist board job in Indonesia, and. He was really he lost his drone a load, and it was a race drone, so it's small, very hard to find, doesn't have, it doesn't necessarily have the best feedback vision wise, so you can't locate where it is. And there was this kid stoked to be in the production, like a local kid, so the bike park we're in, and he hit the kid, and through the kid's race kit, he was so excited just to be getting filmed. He didn't put up a fuss, and then I saw him, and he lifted his race shorts up, and he had big gashes in his leg.
No
and
way.
The drone pilot was being really impatient with everyone. He was really like, "Come on, back to the top." And I actually had a go at him. I did because I just thought this chart. Yeah, because this chart. Well, I did because it's a dangerous thing. You can't take it lightly, like flying a drone. I don't think. I mean, if you smashed in someone's face, that's it. You could get a proper Action Man scar in seconds, couldn't you?
Dude, yeah. So I don't know anything about drones, really. So the person that's flying the drone, are they seeing through goggles like what the drone sees?
Yeah.
Wow, so it's literally a video game, basically, and you're just flying it, and that's all you see.
And those race drones are mind-blowing. Have you seen the Red Bull... I can't remember what they released it as. It was Thomas Slavic going down Valparaiso street race track.
Yes, the recent one.
Dude, yes, the recent one. So this clip is way more complicated than it might even seem. So because he's in an urban environment and he's got like buildings all around him, the drone's following him through these streets. They're steep-sided. It's like that's what urban racing is. It's it's a hard one to capture though from a drone perspective because of signal. Signal is impossible. It's like the vision that the drone pilots actually have is like really bad. It's like CCTV. So they do an amazing job. So they've managed, in order to make this work and in order to get signal all the way down and for it to not cut out because of the buildings, they've had to fly what's essentially a signal bouncing drone above the race drone. So they've got the mothership cruising higher up.
So sick.
How clever is that? Yeah.
That is really cool.
Because I spoke to the people at Cut Media about it the other day and they said it was such an operation just to get that one clip of Slavic going through the streets, Just to get that one clip. They've got 2 drones. They've got all of this different,
So that must be crazy for the person flying it because you're not seeing it in HD like you think you'd see it. You're seeing it in a really, like you said, CCTV, maybe a 4...
Dude, it's literally potato quality.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
It's literally potato.
Wow. That must be weird, Benny, if you're flying one. Do you not feel like just totally discombobulated?
I guess it's like if anyone's ever used VR, it's the same thing. Like if anyone's ever played a game in VR.
See, I've never done that either.
Really, you're so immersed in it. So if you start walking, you think you're walking the game, but you're walking real life. And like you say, if you're just sort of there looking at the whole world through goggles.
Do you know at Audi 9s or Suzuki 9 nights, or particularly when it was in the quarry, I remember looking around and you see like 4 drone pilots, like because you're just riding and they're just following you around, getting clips and stuff. And I remember seeing these 3 drone pilots, FPV drones, or 2 drone pilots. They're sat on cliffs with their goggles on, but they're on cliffs. And you know, like if I watch a GoPro, I'm like this. I can't help it. I'm just watching it like. If I was in an FPV thingy, I reckon I'd be doing exactly the same.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like moving with the motion.
Yeah. FPV is first person view, right?
Yes.
Okay. First person view. I'm sure that's an idiot question, but I genuinely didn't know what it stood for. Okay.
No, actually, I haven't even thought about it. Why is it called FPV drone?
I guess it is like a first person
view.
Almost like when you used to play Grand Theft Auto as a kid and you get like the view from the car. Or, you know, do you know what I mean? Like you're not...
Or Call of Duty, you are the character.
Yeah, you are, exactly. You are the... You're not like stood back watching the car in front of you or, you know, you are the thing.
Dude, do you know when I actually went and said sorry to the drone pilot the other day? Because in my head, what's following me is his severed head with propellers around it. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And I've been up Milford before with Kuss as well, and Kuss has got stuck in all of these tree branches, and obviously you can't see up or down or around. You can only see forwards, so he's stuck. And I was just imagining his severed head, like with propellers coming out of it, like stuck, like his face, like ah. Pretty stupid, but
you need special licenses and stuff, don't you, to fly them for like commercial projects and stuff like that?
Yeah, you do.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, it used to be free for all, didn't it? I did a video years ago called Destination Trail, and it was like Surrey Hills. It was like I can't remember who it was with, really, but it basically Destination Trail was a specialised bike series, and they just used to spend so much money on these videos, and they were just essentially like spot checks in different parts of the world. And they did one in Surrey Hills, and they did one with one of the old big budget drones. I don't know what camera it had on it.
Like an old Phantom. Is it white?
No, dude. It's like where it looks like Meccano. You know, it's like an octa drone.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is before. It was like when you had it on the ground, you could barely lift it. I don't know if it couldn't have been petrol, could it? But it was like it was fucking loud. This thing's petrol. Big, dude. Yeah. So he was going down through. I was going through a load of rollers, jumping them, manualing, whatever. And he was going down behind me, and then for whatever reason, he's going. He's kind of trying to make the shot go like the. Man, I'm losing.
Like cut in front of you almost.
Yeah, exactly. So like he's trying to cut up, and he nearly took my head off. And the blades on that were big enough that they would have completely. Wow. There's that video, dude, of the girl standing on a rock in the sea. Have you ever seen that?
No, I don't think I have. No, I bet going down this rabbit hole of drone accidents is pretty funny.
Yeah, it's
or
funny to watch.
Depending on how
if it hits a human, it's not that funny. Yeah, so I think I feel like I've been lucky so far, and hopefully I've got away with it.
Yeah, it's sick though, dude. Like I said, I'd love the opportunity to ride with one. That'd be really cool at some point. But yeah, I don't really know much about it. But when I saw the Red Bull clip, the FPV first person, I think they call it some sort of clickbaity title of like, is this the best FPV GoPro footage?
Yeah,
drone shot ever.
Drone shot ever.
Is that what they called it? Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's up there. To be honest, I think it is up there. I seen like in the comments section of that video, there are loads of people mentioning if they could use those at Rampage and stuff like that. But I don't know. Do they live stream from drones? I've not seen it before.
They do
because they. Is it Leo Gang?
Yeah, they do in the World Cup. Yeah,
of course they do.
To me, it makes me feel sick. It makes me feel all of the swooping. I understand that's being a good drone pilot, and you can add a lot of like atmosphere with that, or movement, or speed, or whatever. But it makes me feel a bit ill. The certain race drone footage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's
like motion sickness.
Different. It is like motion sickness.
It was really polarising, the World Cup feedback, because some people absolutely loved the race drone. I found it a bit hard to work out who's quick. I quite like
that was last year as well, weren't it? They didn't do it for the first round this year. I don't think. I didn't see it anyway. No. Do you think as well that's got to do with like how much signal they've got as well?
Yeah, well, because they did it on such a straight, didn't they? It was very like open, no trees.
Yeah,
so,
open, no trees. Yeah,
that's what you need.
I feel like that again probably is the future, though, isn't it? Really, if you think about mountain bike media and race, especially EWS Enduro series, being able to follow the best rider through sections and stuff, that is probably the future.
Man, isn't it? All the tech, dude, is just. It's so
tech.
like I couldn't believe that they were bouncing signal. I'm so incapable of anything like that.
Yeah, if anyone can do it, it's the cut media guys, man. They're gonna pull that shit off, right?
Yeah, I wonder if they're doing a behind the scenes of that, because it'd be really interesting, actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Or maybe this was it. This was the behind the scenes of it.
There you go.
Speculating, throwing
That's
ideas
a clip.
out there. That's a clip. BTS.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There you go. How's your weekend, Ollie? What's been going down, man?
Well, as you know, we both went to the cycle show, and it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It made me realise it was the first time in like. Okay, so I had to work at bike shows a lot. So bike shows to me lost a certain amount of their excitement going through life. And to the point where I was a bit like, it was just work, it's just standing in a hall talking to people non-stop. It makes you very tired, as probably you feel the same through your work. Yeah. And it's been so long since I've been to one that I realised I was actually looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And like the opportunity to be at a bike show, see all of these people, see all of these brands, see all of the bike fans. It was wicked. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I met loads of cool people. And it was just good to see lots of friendly faces and people who love biking, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with you. Likewise, it was nice. It's a long ass way from Sheffield. It was a bit of a lastminute.com decision for myself and my business partner Mark, who were like, yeah, let's just head down, have a little bit of a cruise round. It'd be nice to see some people. Obviously, I knew you were there and some of the other people and stuff. And again, lovely to met a few podcast listeners, which was lovely. Nice to see some merch floating around. That's always a mind blower. I just feel like it just needs something else. It felt, obviously it's great to be back doing shows. I've done a few shows already this year, and certain shows have really like stepped the game up. There's a sort of atmosphere in the hall where you're like, there's an energy, and I just felt like the cycle show, it didn't have that energy. I feel like I'm not organising the show. I've got no authority over this at all, and I'm not. This is definitely no hate at all. But the shows from previous years, like Bike Live and stuff like that, there was an energy in there, and there was like an excitement and stuff. And this one, to me, it did just feel a little bit flat. It needed like the speakers thing maybe to be in the hall so you can overhear it and you can see things going on. It just needed something. That's just me. Like again, I feel like that's what biking is.
I tell you, it's
exciting and it's like energy and it just felt.
I don't know if I compare shows to like when I was younger, which obviously when I was younger, like the bike show was just crazy. Like it was like there were jumps there. It was the only time you got to see all of your heroes. True. There was a lot of trade as well. People were like selling stuff a lot. So it felt like there was like hustle and bustle. There was loads of freebies. You got a goodie bag. And as a kid, that was all so exciting. And I don't know whether just being older at a certain
and maybe it has just changed quite a lot. Maybe maybe that we had the same discussion in the car. But again, from going and doing certain other shows out of bike industry over the last 10 years, really, like moto stuff or outdoor running shit, all that sort of stuff. It needs like retail. It needs people there for a bit of a deal and a bargain and like a. But again, we've gone through this huge growth period of mountain biking. No doubt brands don't have excess stock to take. They don't have discount bikes to take. They arguably don't need to go to shows. Let's be honest, because most of the bikes are already sold anyway. So
I think a big part of it used to be the excitement around new product, because you used to kind of schedule your year around your product launches being at Eurobike or at the bike show, or you had these like set dates. And now,
as a consumer, you do the same. You'd be like, I need some new bars and a stem. Right, I'm going to wait till the bike show. I'm going to take my 50 quid and I'm going to get a bargain.
Yeah, so. And then everyone kind of felt like it was like, Focus are launching a new bike at the show or whatever, and then you would all there was just a bit of a buzz around it. Whereas now, because everything's so internet based, I guess maybe that's what shows have lost.
Yeah,
who knows?
I think so. Yeah, who knows? But either way, it was nice. It's lovely to get people together. Nice to see people. A lot of, indeed. Nice people floating around and stuff. So,
and I guess
it was good.
Coming out of a global pandemic, I guess it's not that easy to, gain momentum. Like so much of the world, dude, was based on momentum before all of this. I hate to talk about it again, but it made me think because there were elements.
Feel like it stalled everything out for a bit,
dude. Well, I just thought about how I was at the show. I was thinking like, God, this is like it seemed bizarre to me that there was a room full of that many people. It seemed hectic. I guess it always would have seemed hectic, but it just does make me. It's hard to even tell what. Yeah, exactly. It's hard to even tell what effect being away from people and having this kind of like stopgap and no momentum. It's hard to even tell what effect it's had. I don't know.
No, I'm with you. And even as someone who isn't really on that whole train of the COVID thing, it does make you think. You come away from it thinking, I don't know, it's Monday today, or I was there on Saturday, you're like, when does it kick in that I start feeling a bit shitty? Like, chances are you're probably going to get something being in a room full of that many people. You used to do back in the day, mate. Like, you used to get the same thing.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about the illness. I was thinking about just literally being in a massive busy room felt overwhelming. It wasn't like, I don't care about being ill. It's not that. It's that I haven't done it for 2 years. It's like...
Yeah.
I don't know. And then
see, I've done a few. You see,
I haven't.
Definitely still felt. I mean, the last one I came away with the illness. And then anyone who did, there was a trade only show last month. It feels like anyone who did that came away with an illness.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, core bike was, everyone came away with COVID. That's what they were calling it. It's COVID.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just felt like everyone was like, I don't know. And it's a shame that people do think about it, but maybe it is something you need to think about. I don't know. Again, I'm sort of like on the fence with the whole thing anyway, but I don't want to overthink shaking people's hands and hugging people.
No,
I just want to live my life and get on with it.
I remember years. No, I absolutely. I don't think that wasn't really what I meant. But people are like that before the pandemic. I remember one of my colleagues at DMR. He used to. I found it really rude. He would shake someone's hand. I watched him do it loads. He'd shake someone's hand, and then as he's speaking to them, he's like, got the stuff, the sanitizer. This was years. This was like 10 years before our global pandemic. And then I ripped him because I'd turn up to the stand and I'd put it on my hands first and then shake his hand, just to make it weird, like the most slippery, horrible handshake. But yeah, I get you. I think when I refer to it, I'm just talking about general weirdness.
Yeah, it is. Like, it's a massive shift in our perception of how we are around other people. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that you even have to think about it, and you're like, oh, look at this. This is weird. I'm in a room with 1,000 people. It is. We've been made to stay indoors for 2 years almost. It is different. It's very, very
bizarre.
different. And hopefully things just wash over, and it's something that is a distant memory in the not too distant future.
Absolutely, it feels like
it does make. It must make differences to like attendance numbers for shows like that.
Must do.
I bet there's a lot more people than what you think going. I don't want to be around that many people. I've got
100%.
a wedding coming up, and I don't want to risk. I've got a holiday coming up. And, yeah. But when we got there on the Saturday, it was really quiet, and I was a bit like, okay, this is strange. There's not anyone. When I first met you, I was like, dude, like this is weird. There's no one here at all. But then it did get busier, which was good.
I've never been to that
palace. I was a bit nervous at first. I was a bit like, this is really strange.
Yeah.
There's no one here.
I've never been to that palace. It seemed a bit 28 days later to me. Like turning up on the outside, it was like a bit beat, isn't it? For a palace. What even is it? Benny, what is Alexandra Palace? Historically, it's not an actual palace, is it? It's an exhibition hall. It's pretty cool though, like how it's at the top of the hill and it overlooks London. But holy, is that for something that's in London? Ain't in London, is it? For me,
no.
Coming from the south, that is a long way. It's a mission, man. I did every single method of public transport. I was in hovercrafts, helicopters, jet skis. It's insane.
Jetpack,
dude. It took me hours to get there.
Really? I thought it'd be super simple for you, but it's really not, is it?
No,
it's always basically been an entertainment and sports venue. From when it was built in 1873.
That's old, isn't it? There you go. What sport venue was it in 1873?
It was.
Please. I reckon badminton.
That's a badminton hall. That's a big old badminton
disc golf.
They didn't want those cocks hitting the roof, did they?
I had a great experience there a few years ago, man. Like, it was a very strange experience. I think I told you about this, but I'm going to share it with the podcast family. My girlfriend went to see Arctic Monkeys in Barcelona with her friend who lived in London. So I was like, I'll come down. Like, they went to London, and I thought, I'll just stay in London for the night. I'll cruise around, do a bit of sightseeing, just cruise around on the underground and stuff. And then I saw that Warped Tour was on, and I was like, fuck, like, Warped Tour was sick, dude. And every now and again it used to come to the UK, and it was basically like an action sports / music festival. I don't know. Did you ever go to Warped Tour?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay. It was like, so it had like a half pipe inside. Yeah. You know, it had all
I know
that
what
stuff
it was.
And gigs and a music gig. And it was sponsored by Monster Energy, and my friend at the time worked at Monster, so I sent her a message, and I was like, I don't suppose you can get me a ticket for this, can you? It's like sold out, and I'm in London for the day. She came back like instantly, like, 2 backstage passes. Boom, there you go. So I was like, fucking sick. So I sold one of them outside, as you do.
Nice. And then,
hustling. Yeah, I sold one. I sold one backstage pass, and then I just had this backstage music pass. So I was like cruising around. Like, I remember a band called AFI, I think, were headlining, and I was just back there in like behind stage. It was one of those experiences that you really needed to be with someone else to like embrace it. But I was just on my own, just cruising around. It was sick, dude. I had a right good day out. It was like really warm. It was a lovely day. I was like, oh man, it was the best. Kind of a shit story, but it was just cool just to.
That is good.
No, it's a shit story. I'm thinking about it.
No, it's
not. It's a shit story. I'm sorry, everyone. Please.
I remember going. Me and my friend. We were very young. We were at NASS. And it was one of the first experiences of the athlete wristband.
Oh,
we went, so at NASS, you know, like this was like, at the time this was, well, we only hung out with people in the woods. So NASS was just like a whole new world. It's insane. We were riding in front of more people than we'd ever ridden in front of. It was like really... Yeah. And also we were probably away from our parents for the first time. We're probably 16, 17, something like that. So we've gone backstage. We've gone into this room, and it's the room where they used to have like, well, they're called the Fuel Girls, and they would wear like leather bikinis, and they would blow fire,
like fire and stuff. Yeah. The Fuel
we
Girls,
were just in the backstage room with the Fuel Girls. It was, so we just sat down, just these two like spotty teenage losers. we just sat there like drinking our waters, looking around, like thinking this is the most insane thing ever. And then we were like creeping around. What creeps? What weirdos, man! But we just felt like it was like, you know, you're just like walking through rooms that you wouldn't usually be able to get into because of your little wristband. I've never experienced it before.
That's cool.
Kind of.
Yeah. And you rode what? The dirt jump? Did they do a comp, or was it just an?
Yeah, it was dirt jump and four cross. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Dude, NASS was rad. They don't do that anymore, I don't think, do they?
I don't actually know. It got a bit out of hand. I think people died. There was riots. There was like it turned into a bit of a like drum and bass festival.
That's when I went. We went with when I used to work for One Industries. We did all the Monster Energy and Rockstar like licensed clothing. So we went and we did like a Monster / Rockstar clothing thing, and it was just a load of teenagers trying to steal stuff off you for a whole day. And then at the end of it, my boss was like, I can't handle this anymore. Let's just pack up and go home.
Really?
So we just went home. Like, it was out of control. Like you said, it was just a load of young people that had been let off the leash for the weekend
on ketamine,
and they were just on ketamine, just chewing the faces off, walking around trying to steal stuff off you.
That's my only. I've never been anywhere where there's a riot. Like, not living in a city, I've never protested. I don't know what it's like to be in a giant crowd of people like that. But there was a riot there, and it was terrifying. It was honestly.
I was part of the Motocross Des Nations riot. Not part of it as in I was participating, but there was one at Matterley Basin, and that turned into a riot when there was riot police and a helicopter. And
really?
A fucking motocross race, dude. It was insane. I can't remember what year that was. It would have been like 2010, I guess, whenever the Des Nations was in Matterley Basin in the UK. Yeah, I've got a funny story about that I can't tell on air, but I'll tell you off air.
There you go. I look forward to it. When I was on the train back, actually, from the cycle show, I was on a line that goes through Arsenal. And I was like, honestly, I'm too stupid. I don't know anything about football. I was like, Arsenal, I guess that is, is it a place as well, or is it literally the football stadium? I don't know. I don't honestly
Same as
know.
Goodwood.
Yeah, exactly. I've never followed football though, so I honestly don't know, and I still actually don't know. But there was in my head, I was like, imagine it's the stadium, and it's just like, it's like if you get off at that station, it's like football land. It's like so as we pull up, and the train's like loud.
Yeah.
As we pull up, I thought I could hear shouting. Like, I was like, this can't be the case. It can't be literally like football land, and there's like a soundtrack to pulling up at the station. We pull up at the station. It is like deafening, chants, everything. Referee's a wanker. All this shit. The doors open, and then just they all just. There's just hundreds of people shouting and chanting, and they're all like, they're like the dudes that were in the carriage with me. They were like a group of probably 50, 60-year-old men, really pissed up. This is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon or something. They're really pissed up, and they are full on shouting, screaming, doing chants. And there's just me and this old lady just sat on the chairs like, what the...
What time was this?
It was obviously where a game's chucked out.
They'd just beaten Man U, that's why.
Is that why? There you go. Well, see, there you go. It all makes sense.
You felt the wrath of it on the tube.
Yeah, dude, how funny is that? I'm that clueless. I'm sorry to our listeners, I'm that clueless. I've never been drawn in by football. I don't follow it. I don't know anything about it. No. It's just never done it for me. But
No. I love that Deeks went to see the Tyson Fury fight, and the seats were like so far back, and he was saying how much they were, and I was like, fucking hell. And I was at the show, I was speaking to his girlfriend NASS, and she was like, oh yeah, we're going to this fight tonight, I'm not that bothered about it. And then I heard how much the tickets were, and I was like, whoa. You better start being bothered if you're my girlfriend. You're going to be really bothered about it.
You will enjoy it. You will enjoy it.
You will have a scarf on, you will be a fighter fan.
I've never been to a fight. I bet it's good. I bet a football game's good as well. It's like loud.
Football games are quite good. I think I like atmosphere. I like a sing along. I like a good chant.
Yeah, absolutely.
We went to see Manchester United a few years ago. That was quite cool. Emma and I. Again, that was a similar thing. Like you get off at the ground. Like that's the train station, and it's just like full on. It's just like pies and merch and shouting and calling and
it's hooliganism
out
still a thing.
Of your depth though, right? You're like, I do not fit in this environment at all, but I'm going to roll with it just for a few hours.
Just shout, you fit in, it's easy. Honestly, is hooliganism a thing, or is it something that doesn't really go on anymore? Is it like...
No, I think it's
100%.
I think it's.
Is it still a thing? Yeah. So as in, so what do? They fight between teams, do they, or?
Well, yeah, because in football, like you have your set places you can sit. So if you support one team, you sit one side, the other other side.
So bloody tribal.
Yeah, it's
all
so
of
weird.
It's funny. I noticed the other day I was driving past the Sheffield United ground, which is in the city centre.
Yeah,
and there's like 2 or 3 pubs opposite the stadium, like the football ground, and on big signs outside it says "No away fans." Like all of the pubs say the same thing: "No away fans."
So
no away
insane.
fans. Dude, I've seen over the years when Sheffield United have played Sheffield Wednesday, they don't lock the city down.
Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, there's two teams in Sheffield, and for a long time they're in the same league. They're in not the Premiership, but I guess the one down. And then when they play each other, it's like a Sheffield derby, and the stadiums are only 10-minute drive away from each other.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like it's full on,
The rivalry's insane.
Yeah, they're like that's what. Whenever you say when you're not in bike circles and stuff, and you say where you're from, people always go, "Oh, are you Sheffield? Or are you Wednesday? Or are you United?" That's kind of like always the thing, and you're like, "Oh, not really." Either,
I don't know.
Yeah, not really either, to be honest.
Is it This Is England? Was that a hooliganism film?
I don't know. Green Street was.
Green Street, yeah, I remember that. I feel like really This Is England was, but maybe it was really brutal, and it was like one of those films, when you watch it when you're a kid, and it's like, even then, it seems a bit old and dusty, and it makes it more horrible.
Yeah.
Well, that was 2006.
I'm sure it's still a thing. I'm sure. I mean, dude, anything where you get a load of pissed up blokes together.
Yeah.
But
and create a team.
And
two teams.
Yeah, 2 teams. But saying that, rugby, they do mixed stands, don't they? They don't have... Yeah.
Rugby is a gentleman's game. Apparently,
right,
it
gentleman's
is.
game.
Yeah.
Damn right it is.
American football's the same. Mixed.
You don't
mixed
get
stadium.
rugby. You don't get. Why don't you get hooligans in any other? I would love to find. I'd love to know the theories on that. Why you don't get hooligans in other sports as much? I'm sure you do, but like, why you don't get like this kind of tribal? I don't know.
It's like it's like theatrics of football, though, isn't it? There's so much passion.
Yeah,
and so much
passion.
Yeah,
I feel like rivalry is just way bigger in football than any other sport.
And it requires zero participation. That's what I also find interesting with football. Is that the people that are the most passionate look like they've never played,
never touched the ball.
Yeah, I don't want to be horrible about it, but it does seem that way. It doesn't seem like they love football, and then they've got such opinions on how the game's like, what the coach's decisions are, and what and you just think like, how can you know? I think those are the things. It's a number of things that have like made me not particularly look into it or get into football. So those are the things that put me off. Yeah, you hate
but
football.
Also, it's quite.
I hate it.
I hate football as well. I feel like as well, it's quite. It's not even a relatable. I think this is probably going to sound harsh, Olly, a little bit like what you've almost just said about the people who support it, but the people that are there in the stands are probably people with regular jobs that, you know, going to the football is probably quite an expense for them, and then you've got all these people in front of you that are all earning 150 grand a week. Like, don't be angry at the other team, be angry at the fucking people on the pitch that get paid all this money for kicking a ball around.
Oh, you reckon it's money related? Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Money's hilarious.
No, I'm just saying, it just doesn't make any sense that, like I said, the people that are there it's a working class thing, isn't it? You'd say football. It's very much like a working blue collar, almost whatever you call it, sort of thing to support. But yet, everyone who participates earns insane amounts of money. It's funny. On the way down to the thing, my business partner Mark was telling me about one of his mates' sons has been signed to Man City.
Oh wow! Good.
So he's 13 years old. He's already signed him, and he gets $2,000 a week.
Wow!
You don't have to do it. That's what they pay to just, I guess, like keep you on the books. At 13, dude, $2,000 a week.
Yeah. By the way,
$8,000 a month.
We sound like a couple of 1, 2, 3 football haters here. As a sport goes, I don't hate it. If you're passionate about something, it's cool as fuck. There's just certain elements of like football supporting I don't like. I think that's what you have to make that clear, don't you? Like otherwise, it just sounds like you're hating on something that. I mean, well, how can you hate on like an activity? It's weird.
I think football's quite big. I feel like we could have offended disc golf. And the wrath of that, you can deal with it. If you offend a whole
it was heavy.
UK national sport, let's be careful.
Yeah,
you know, we don't want the football hooligans starting fights with us down the trails.
I think also, like, I think maybe it's something to do with my brain doesn't really compute. Like having it so far in between goals is tough for me to sit through as a kid.
You like
especially.
basketball, it's chop,
my goodness, like ice hockey, basketball, all these sports where it happens quick. Biking, for instance, you know, like it's happening the whole time. It's not like you have a moment where you're just like, I don't even really know what goes on in football. So I think that's why it's never grasped me as well. It's a number of reasons, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just not relatable at all. I've never been into it. I was as a kid.
Hey, do you know what child. Yeah, absolutely. Hooliganism is a taint on what people call the beautiful game and is a PR nightmare, I imagine, for football clubs and such like. But we've had another PR nightmare. The Red Bull. What's it called? The Red Bull plane swap. Oh, no. I haven't seen... So do you want to introduce what's happened? You sent it to me, dude.
Yeah, I did. I just found this quite interesting that they tried this over the weekend. So the Red Bull plane swap, I've actually got a little bit of information up here in case people haven't heard of this and what it was.
Was it yesterday?
It was yesterday, mate. Yeah. Well, it was... Yeah, they tried. It was yesterday.
I wonder what the after party was like.
Yeah, it's tough. So what? It was two cousins, Luke Aitkins and Andy Farrington, and these two are established skydivers by the looks of things. They've been doing it for years. That Luke Aitkins, I didn't realise, is the guy who jumped out of a plane at 25,000 feet and did it without a parachute and landed in a net.
Oh,
you ever seen that?
Was it a net or boxes? Was it no cardboard boxes?
No, it's definitely a net. Yeah, it's definitely a net. I think a lot of cardboard boxes. It was definitely a net.
Dude, wasn't there one with cardboard boxes? Benny, can you search?
That was even cardboard boxes.
It was a cardboard box. Yeah.
That sounds aggressive. That sounds like a harsh landing.
It looked like an Amazon warehouse, dude. It looked like the roof had blown off an Amazon warehouse and then he's just fucking bombed into it from a plane. Cannonball!
Yeah, exactly. Just hope for the best. Holy shit.
It was Gary Connery, 42 from Henley.
Of course he was called Gary.
He's from Henley.
Where was he from?
He's from Henley. Jumped 2,500 feet into 18,600 cardboard boxes.
Wow. Alright, Gary, fair play. You own the internet. You own it. You are the gnarliest dude I've ever heard of.
Well, Gary.
That's insane.
So carry on. Sorry, you've got the net. So this guy went into the net, did he?
This guy went into the net. Yeah, a few years ago now. I didn't realise it was the same guy.
Yeah.
So the premise of the Red Bull plane swap was they both flew two of these planes. They're quite special planes, I guess, but not really. Called Cessnas, which is quite an established old plane. They've been using them for years. Cessna, so they fly at the same time, and then these planes have been specially adapted with like an air brake. So they put them in a 90-degree dip, drive them into the ground, and then the idea was they both switch planes. So they both jump out, and then they swap planes, get back in control, land beautifully. But what actually happened was one of the planes just went into a massive tailspin, or whatever you call it. It started spinning, hurtled towards the ground, and that guy had to just parachute his way out. The other guy, though, I think it was Andy Farrington.
Yeah, he made it didn't he?
He actually did it, yeah. And the footage is pretty gnarly, dude. Well, obviously it's gnarly. It's a plane going at 120 mile an hour, and he's flying and going inside it.
Do you know what? Before you like, I feel like they're getting a lot of stick for this. They're getting investigated. All of this, but hindsight's a terrible thing because the line between celebrating how great someone's achievements are and really saying, "Oh my goodness, you're a complete idiot," it's really like a fine line, isn't it? Yeah, like I think about it loads at like Rampage or at like, you know, like it's so easy.
Like pushing the limits, you mean?
Yeah, like when it goes wrong, it's too easy to go, well, that's a bad idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's tough, dude. Like right now, it seems like not the best idea to do the plane swap. Right now, doesn't it? Right? We can all agree.
It does. Right now, it looks like stupid. Like, what were you doing?
The plane spiraled. Do you know why that happened? You jumped out of it, mate. It had no one in it controlling it.
Yeah, who'd have thought that would what would happen? But they put it in some mode anyway that they specially adapted, and then the plan was for it to just go down a few thousand feet. They swap, but they go like, if you watch the footage, they come like quite far out, and they do like a massive carve to come back to them. It's pretty.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's not how I thought they'd do it, but hey. But dude, it's pretty scary when that plane's starting to spin and there's just two people underneath it.
Exactly. Imagine looking around, or even if you've made it in the plane, because you reach that like point of no return where you can't pull the chute. That's probably so far down, but still. Yeah. Or if you're in the parachute and you're waiting for the plane to, because he went quicker than the plane, didn't he? The guy that couldn't make it into the plane, he went quicker than the plane.
Gone. So
that means there's a plane above you.
Totally. That's
some video game type shit. That is.
It is video game type shit.
That's a mission on a video game.
It's pretty cool though. I was thinking about like Red Bull's involvement in this, and I get the whole gives you wings and doing the flying thing and this and that, but it's like, what won't they sign off on? Like what idea do you have to go with where they're like, nah, that's just too much for us? And does it sell drinks? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Like, there's always that mystery, I guess, of like, why it's just PR.
If it goes right, wow. Yeah, who knows?
Fuck, I want to buy a Red Bull to support them. They just crashed a Cessna into the Arizona desert.
Make a fizzy drink and they crashed a Cessna. I mean, it's lucky it didn't hurt anyone. We wouldn't be laughing about it otherwise. True. Really, innit? Like, that would have been super unfunny. It's too easy to be like a backseat driver, though, as well. Because I was thinking how stupid it was. When I watched it, when you sent me the link, I watched it. I was thinking like, well, yeah, the plane like goes over the bars when he jumps out. Like it looks like one of the dudes was like rushing a bit or whatever. But the reality is they've really like done as much research as physically possible into whether this is.
There's a few documentaries which I haven't had time to look at on the Red Bull page where you can see like the science behind it and what they were doing, because they had doctors involved and all these aeronautical, whatever you call them, aeronautical.
Dr.
Is that
Nick.
Flying C?
It's Dr. Nick off The Simpsons. Hi, everybody.
Nick.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Oh well, but they tried, and that's all you can do really. But yeah, there's a load of information about it and the people and stuff. It's quite interesting.
Have they? Have we got any official? Because I imagine at this point in the proceedings, because they're getting investigated for it. This was a dangerous air accident. They have to be investigated. I wonder if Red Bull have released a statement or anything. Do you know about that, Benny? Where the Red Bull have... Because they'll have to have an official stance on it, and they'll have to have an official reason it went wrong. You can't really shrug it off. Because ultimately, if you shrug it off...
Who is it that's investigating them? The FP... Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't really hide this, can you, as something that's just a bit of a...
You live streamed
the fact that it was broadcast live on TV is kind of...
It's a terrible failure. It is a terrible failure, actually, when you think about it. One that we haven't seen really since maybe one of the that Apollo launch that went wrong, or like really not. You don't see that many live TV failures like this, and it's like it's the risky run, isn't it? I guess
it is the risky run. It is the risky run. Fair play to them because it's not something that they do, almost behind closed doors and just then put the edit out. 'Cause that would have been the one. This is like live on Hulu. Like it's so
gnarly.
It's a whole show around it. It's a whole thing, and then
and imagine how flat that feels when the plane explodes on the ground.
So
because they won't want to even cover that aspect of it until it's cleared that it didn't harm anyone, do anything bad. You know what I mean? Like actually, when you think about it, it is so gnarly. A plane fell out of the sky because of a fizzy drink stunt. It's pretty, it's a tough
when you
job.
boil it down to that, it is.
And ultimately, I know they wouldn't have tried it without being fairly sure. They would have percentages on probability of it actually working.
Yeah, totally. I know. Yeah.
Where do they actually do it?
Arizona, in the desert, I think.
Oh, it's Arizona.
A lot of the PR shots are sort of over the ocean, but I guess there's an issue probably with potentially tomahawking an aeroplane into the ocean. I don't think that's probably a good thing either. The humans that are destroying the planet are now just torpedoing aeroplanes into the ocean and then cleaning it up after. It's just mad, isn't it?
Might hit a Russian submarine.
Yeah, you never know, man. Imagine being out there fishing and there's just an aeroplane coming towards you with a fizzy drink logo on it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Insane.
Yeah. PR nightmare. I like it.
That is a PR nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a PR nightmare. But we're talking about it, so maybe it would have... I didn't even know it was on. I only seen it because...
I didn't either.
Brooke McDonald put it in his Instagram stories, and I was like...
I know. Do you do a follow-up? You know what I mean? Do you do a follow-up?
Yeah.
Don't worry about watching it. We shouldn't even... I don't know if you can joke about it. Of course you can joke about it. It's utterly ridiculous.
Do you want an interesting fact?
Yeah, please.
So a falling Skydiver will reach terminal velocity of 130 miles an hour, whereas a Cessna 182 must not exceed 210 as it will start to break up mid-flight.
There you go.
Oh, that is
wow, so it actually starts to shred itself.
Yeah, so if no one's in it, that's what the air brake was for, is it?
That's what the air brake
reduce the terminal velocity.
Yeah.
The air brake I first thought was a platform when I looked at it.
Stand on?
Yeah, because it kind of folds out of its bum. So I was thinking, the bloke's going to just go in there and it's going to be like a scoop, send him into the back. Yeah, but it isn't. No. It's terrifying.
So the air brake was produced to produce 9 times more drag to equate to the same speed that Aiken and Farrington will be falling at.
Right.
Yeah, they put bigger wheels on them as well, on the planes, to slow it down, like it didn't have the regular wheels on.
I tell you what the air brake looks like. It looks remarkably similar to a sheet of 8x4 ply bolted to the bottom of a farmer's plane. Again, maybe it's hindsight talking. It does look
with a nice
little bit
paint
like
job.
that. Yeah. I like how earlier on in this I was like talking about how I was worried about drones cutting me. And then there's blokes literally in anoraks flying through the air towards propeller-driven aeroplanes at a different speed. Like they have to be flying faster than the plane to go into it. You know what I mean? Like they have to. Imagine overshooting that one. I've overshot a lot of jumps in my time, but that's not as costly as overshooting an aeroplane going through its propeller. Dude.
Oh wow, fair play. But
Yeah.
they're out there pushing the limits of all sports. Well done, Red Bull. Not everything can be a success.
Yeah, exactly.
Not everything can be a success. There's plenty of wins that can take a few L's.
Yeah, not everything can be as successful as your fizzy drink, for instance.
No, exactly.
On this note, this is a very strange tangent, and I don't know why I know about this, but I went down a while back. I went down like a rabbit hole. I'm going to send you this now, Benny.
Wow.
It's a plane that the French created called the Coleocopter. Right, this thing. I really love these things because they basically it makes you realise, and it kind of does link to what we're talking about. It makes you realise the world is just ideas. The world is simply ideas. So someone's had the idea to both jump out of a plane, cross over, get back in. They've convinced enough other people that it's a good idea. They got the money. They made it happen. What happened with the French in the 1950s? In some sort of the idea of this was that it was obviously a military aircraft. A lot of stuff comes from military development. They created what can only be described as I don't know. Maybe someone else can describe it because I can't actually. It's
like a flying thimble.
It looks like a thimble, right? It actually the closest thing it looks like is a UFO to me, doesn't it? Because you see the wheels on the bottom. So to our audio listeners, it kind of looks like a UFO, but with the front of a fighter jet sticking out the top. I would recommend looking
like a
it
bell.
up.
You know what you had at school, like the old school
bell. Yeah, it does. So it's called the Coleocopter, or no, the Coleopter.
Can you spell that for our listeners?
C450. So it's the C450 Coleopter. Do you like that? Oh, I did that because I saw the little lines above the E's, and I figured I had to do an accent.
The pronunciation was bang on, absolutely perfect.
Thank you. So to our listeners, it's probably worth looking this one up, isn't it? Really. But so the idea, it's basically, I guess a good way to explain it would be that it's like one of the jets from a passenger jet with a little cockpit on the top of it, isn't it?
That's basically So it's got no wings.
No, it's got 4 small fins, and the idea was that it could vertically take off and land.
Yeah, it's VTOL, isn't it?
Yeah, so this thing was designed. So imagine testing this in the 1950s. You literally had to just give it a go. You had to get in your weird dildo room on top of the giant bell, which is a massive jet engine. And then and it's got trolley wheels on the bottom, and you had to just go all right, guys, test number 1. It's super interesting if you look into it, though. I find it interesting anyway, because
at some point, everything's that, though, isn't it? Like you said, everything is someone has got to sit in it.
Yeah.
And just hope for the best, man, and just hope it works.
It was an idea, and we could be looking
successful flights, attaining a maximum altitude of 800 meters.
That's high enough to die and high enough to not be able to get your ejector seat working and parachute down. So there's a very brave person in the bell. Should we call it the bell end? Maybe we could call the cockpit the bell end. But that's a very brave person, isn't it? Really.
He's the bravest person, really.
It just looks so unstable, this thing.
Yeah.
It was nicknamed the Flying Barrel.
Flying barrel.
So the idea is that it hovers.
Do you know if it ever actually worked?
No, it never did. From what I can tell, they had a lot of hovering testing, but they never made it to horizontal flight, which was the ultimate goal. It's actually very interesting because the fighter jet cockpit thing on the top of it, the seat. So obviously, if you were in the cockpit seat when it's horizontally flying, you'll be looking forwards. But then if you were coming into land, you would be looking at the sky, so it'd be terrible. So they made it's very interesting where your feet are in horizontal flight. So where your feet are in a normal plane's flight, there's actually a glass window, and the whole cockpit swivels, and you can look out of the floor forwards.
Wow.
I don't know if I'm explaining that well. This is probably a very difficult segment for the audio listeners, but to me, if you get in a 1950s car, dude, and someone says to you, hey, let's do Land's End to John O'Groats in a 1950s car, Imagine the toolkit you'd bring. Imagine the oil, the water, the bloody...
Another car.
You would, though. You'd want you'd want like a backup vehicle, and then they're trying to fly giant bell things in the air.
Wow. I tell you what, there looks like there's a great documentary, Ollie, that you'd love, which was on Discovery called Planes That Never Flew. And if you go on the Google Images, there's a bunch of like really random images and stuff like that of planes that just never managed to get off the ground.
There you go.
So,
I find that fascinating. Working in a...
So this was in 1950.
Yeah.
1950s, right. So quick question. It's a simple yes or no answer, Mr. Wilkins and Benny. We want a simple yes or no answer.
Okay.
20 years after the Bell plane,
Yep.
did humans go to the moon? Yes or no?
I believe that humans went to the moon, Davey. I think it depends on what documentary we watch and in what order. I think that ultimately you can't really know anything, but I think they did. I think it's good to focus. I went down this rabbit hole when I was younger, and I'm glad I came out the other side just sort of accepting that there's no way of actually telling. But I think they did. I think that the Goodyear tyres are the only tyres to ever be on the moon. There you go. Have some of that.
Were they Goodyear? Yeah.
Yeah, they were, dude. On the moon landing. Not that. I mean, there's very much less gravity on the moon, so it kind of makes you think, what do the tyres do? But but yes,
Benny, yes or no? Gen Z, what do Gen Zs think?
I believe there is human machines on the moon, but also depending on what documentary you watch, may be inclined to believe that we did not go to the moon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it may be more.
You've got to watch all of them, haven't you? You've got to watch all of them. I know what you think, David.
Decision.
There's no way.
Yeah, you know what I think.
Yeah, there's no.
You know
way.
what I think.
It's.
You know what I think.
I think what I think is more crazy is that we have proof that they did fake certain things, which is insane. Like, but equally, you know how it is. You're putting together,
and it was a space race. We were in a space race. Well, they were the Americans with Russia, and it was very much a dick swinging competition. Yeah. And the people that worked on the imagery and the videos were Hollywood directors.
Yeah, they're trying to get it out. Yeah.
So it is interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
Here's a question. So who will be the first energy drink company to go to space then?
Oh, the first energy... I think it's Red Bull already. They've been in space.
Didn't that bloke jump from
Mars? Who's going to go to Mars?
To Mars. It's got to be the...
Mars bar.
Mars
Who owns Mars bar?
Mars bar? Yeah, Nestle.
Nestle, innit?
I can't think of anything worse than going to Mars, I'm going to be honest. Even if you offered me a round trip, I can't think of anything worse. It looks shit up there. I think we're on the best one. Clearly, we're on the best one. There's so much to explore. Keep me out of space, dude. I'm into this one. I'm a homie.
Think of the jumps you can make up there. It's literally free land.
Not interested.
Yeah, Red Bull Rampage, Mars. That's
next. Rampage I could deal with for 10 days.
Mars. Come on, hot seat racing in Mars.
Could work.
Literally.
Could work.
Yeah, who knows?
Would you go if you got a round trip?
Absolutely not.
You wouldn't know.
Nah, why?
Benny, what about you?
Round trip, yeah.
Round trip would be up for
TikTok content.
I think so. Mate, yeah, exactly. Think of the content you could pump out. TikTok dancers on Mars.
But how many excursions to Mars have to have been completed before you go? For me, it's at least 100. Yeah. Like successful ones. Yeah, you don't want to be in the top 10. You don't want to be that person.
No, I didn't buy the first iPod, that's for sure.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
First one's a throwaway.
First anything. Yeah, first one is a throwaway. Hey, anyway, we're going to try and keep this episode short and sweet, Ollie, because you've got a special announcement, and here it is.
You are quite right. We're going to try and do something. Well, I'm going to Vanta Jam tomorrow. I'm in the car with Sam Reynolds, none other than Sam Reynolds, and we've got the DarkFest video coming out today. So we thought, let's interview Sam in the van on the way to Wales. What could possibly go wrong? Coming up next. Right, we're on. I said that we'd get this exclusive, and now I am. I've actually followed through. We're on our way to the Vanta Jam. I'm here with Sam Reynolds.
Hello everyone. Welcome to Olly's special edition podcast.
Yeah, this is the podcast. So we're taking the podcast on the road. Big BK's driving us to Vanta Jam.
At 70 miles per hour.
At 70, or was it 70?
Yeah.
Well, he was as well.
There you go.
Makes a change. Yes.
Fuel's too expensive, really.
Fuel nightmare at the moment. I don't know if the video version of this is going to be that usable, I'll be honest. Quite an aggressive angle I'm rocking right now. Yeah, we're here with Sam. He's just got back from the fest, from
DarkFest. Well, I don't know if you remember, it's actually not part of the fest series. The fest guys would like to make that very clear.
I actually slipped up then because that was my first point on my list of homework that Davey has given me.
Davey.
But just this year looked better than ever. Maybe you can talk about it.
Thanks, Ollie. I'll take the GoPro from you there and your little mic. Yeah, we're doing a podcast in the back. We're trying to get distracted by guys in the front. But thanks, it was the best probably year ever. Kind of like each year, we kind of come back where we left off. And this year, instead of rebuilding the whole set of jumps, we covered them up with like tarps and stuff. So actually there was a lot less work to do on the course. So yeah, it was actually really cool. And we had a massive crew this year, the biggest one ever. I think we had 25 riders. Bren was there, out in front, he's also in the van. And yeah, it was actually just the best time ever. We had girls for the first time, which was super cool and interesting. They were actually, they were amazing, they were. Yeah, really.
Outside perspective, everyone was studying pretty good.
Oh, thanks, Bernard. Bernard liked it as well.
Good addition. I didn't expect so much of the course to get ridden. I thought you were building a separate line, or I thought but actually it looked like the warm-up line was really good as well. And the warm-up line you extended, right?
Yeah, so that actually was kind of, because DarkFest is fairly windy, the jumps are almost 100 foot. You don't always, you just need the absolute perfect conditions to ride them. So we did build a warm-up line, so it's called. It's still like 50 foot, so it is actually still quite gnarly.
I've been there once and I had to ride something.
Yeah.
You know, and I was terrified of those things. They're like...
Yeah, and we rebuilt that, and we thought it's like, for anyone that had never been before, and including all the girls, we thought it'd be a great like warm-up line to get used to the high speeds, because it is a different way of jumping, really. Sort of, you fly the bike, it's a lot more like motocross. Yeah, Lego manning, yeah. No, not Lego manning.
What way is it different? In what way would you say jumping jumps that size is different?
You like steer it with the bike in the air. It's not like you do the work off the takeoff, but that's not all of it. You kind of have to hold the bike in the air, and you can kind of fix mistakes a bit more. It's like if anyone's jumped a big motocross table, it's a lot more like that. You kind of wait up in the air and sort of, you can kind of fly it and steer it. It's quite hard to explain.
So it's less of a carve up a lip, would you say, or is it more like?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Slow motion.
It's just different. Yeah, you can't carve up the lip.
Yeah.
If you turn your wheels in the air, because there's so much like you're slicing through the air at such a high speed, you turn the wheel and it kind of steers your whole bike around.
Yeah.
And it's quite easy to go over the bars as well. So it's nice to learn on like some nice 50 footers. And we kind of thought the girls would definitely ride those for at least 3 or 4 days, but actually they just rode it for one morning and then they came straight over to the big line and cracked it all out with us. There are actually some guys that spent more time on the warm-up line than the girls.
Yeah, that's rad. That's so gnarly. I mean, is there part of it that terrifies you? Because there's obviously, like, for them as well, I imagine being one of the girls, you'd feel the pressure.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, you'd feel like you had to perform more than maybe some of the guys. I don't know, but just there must be, like, some worry and responsibility that comes with running the event.
Massive responsibility.
Male or female, I mean. But, like, the addition of girls, it would be more scary, I would imagine, because you feel like they're going to send it harder because they've got a point to prove or whatever.
Yeah, well, actually, they were super sensible, and it's actually the boys that always hurt themselves, which
in life.
I do feel responsible inviting people to come and ride, like, the most dangerous sort of jumps of all time. And especially with girls, like you said, I don't know why, but it just feels worse to send them off jumps for some reason. I guess they're a bit more delicate. I think that's fair to say, isn't it? And if the boys crash,
used to it, dude. Like,
they break their legs as well. Like if you crash those jumps, you almost don't not go to hospital. So
you run a tightrope is saying the wrong thing, but ultimately, like you don't actually, like in our group of friends, you don't get a chance to ride with girls all the time. So I still think, in my head, I think exactly the same. I think like you want to like be a little bit more careful in general with something physical.
Well, especially because you don't know. And the thing actually all comes from Audi 9s because they got invited there for the first time. They were so impressive there. They jumped all the jumps that we weren't sure what they were going to do. And so I kind of thought, wow, they've just never been actually given the opportunity to see what they can do. So let's really give them an opportunity to see what they can do right against the boys, like on equal terms. And
that's the deep end, man.
I have to say, they exceeded every expectation I had. And they literally jumped every jump, even the 90-footer, which is a serious jump. There's no room for error there. Yeah, they jumped that. Robin and Casey jumped that. And actually all of them, I think they would have done a full top-to-bottom run, but the last few days were windy, so we'll have to wait for next year, eh?
to wait for next year. We've just pulled up at the service station. We're going to continue the questions in a bit. Before our break, we were talking to before we stopped for cookies, we were talking to Sam about. I remember now. I've already told you the question, but it was something I was thinking about. I was thinking about if you were to stop, no one would know. Like, you've built up an amount of knowledge about building jumps over 100-foot jumps, basically. If you were to stop, no one would know how to do it again. You've like developed jumps now. They look like they work perfect now.
Kinda, yeah. I guess people could make 100-foot jumps, but people make jumps pretty wrong as well. Like, going round to all bike parks and stuff really makes you realise how little people know about making jumps and making them safe.
Well, that's sick, because then if you've got, like, let's say, even if it was like 3 tips on how you make jumps safe at speed that you've learned from building the world's biggest, okay, then please.
Literally, yeah. One, just get Sea Dog to come, because he'll make it so good and so quick. But people, the biggest mistake everyone always makes is to have like a curvy transition to the top. Like, the transition has to slow down towards the top, and even we put about a bike length of no transition, so completely flat end of the takeoff, to help you kind of fly straight through the air. Like in a skate park or a jump box or a spine, it curves all the way to the top of the transition, but that's okay because it tips you forwards, because it kind of kicks the front wheel then the back wheel, so it kind of makes you lean forward. And obviously on a 100-foot jump, that's not what you need, because there's so much air time, it will kick you over the front. So you need like a super smooth transition, really consistent, and then to level out at the end. So especially with downhill bikes and suspension bikes, it doesn't compress and fire you over the bars, which a lot of bike parks do curve the takeoffs all the way to the top, and that's literally the best way to fire someone over the bars and make it dangerous. The safer the jump is, the more fun it is, really, isn't it? Because then you can make it dangerous as you want by whipping and stuff and doing tricks. But yeah, if it's a stable takeoff, that's the best way. That's the biggest mistake. Also, make your landings massive, because just why not? A smaller landing is hard to land on, isn't it? So you've got more room for error. But yeah, like you said, we spent the last 5 years really perfecting this line now, and I think it showed this year because everyone got through it straight away. We didn't have any like mega overshoots, mega cases, or like any crashes just from jumping jumps, actually, which is really cool.
Definitely. Like, I remember the first few years, it's like you get to the end and people are like stoked on just getting to the end. Obviously 100%. Everyone's still stoked getting to the end, but like people are actually putting together runs now, which is like...
Definitely, it's changed, and that only comes over years of experience, because the jumps are so big and they take like one takeoff takes 1 day completely to rebuild, not even to build, just to reshape and make the surface perfect takes 1 day. So like, if it's not right, we almost don't have time until next year to change it. So every year we learn something we want to change, and actually this year, for the first time, I don't know what we've changed. I think finally everything is pretty damn perfect. And
would you say you've reached big jump perfection?
Almost, yeah. It's like, sounds stupid, but it's a lifetime's work, that line, actually, because it's taken the blood, sweat and tears, literally blood, because there's been a few broken bones. I broke my arm testing a jump that we got wrong, and now it's sort of, all those years of work, and I think finally, hopefully that's in my opinion, the funnest line ever made. You wouldn't want it in your back garden. You have to get quite ready for it, but yeah, it's super sick, and everyone seemed to like it. I think it was the best year,
Wicked. Right, my last question, and then we can go back to enjoying our cookies.
Okay.
What's next for it? Like, do you have a plan for next year already, or where is it going?
Actually, it's such like a savage month that we just got back. I almost can't think about doing it again right now, because it's so much hard work every single day, and quite stressful. And it's like looking after children as well. Free riders are not like, they're hard work, actually, to be honest. But next year, I guess, we'll go back. I don't know. There's a few plans. We don't really know. I'd like to see some girls go top to bottom next year, and I'd like to see more runs. Like the MBA was really putting together top to bottom like trick runs on every feature, which we've never had like a prize for the best run, because it's such a difficult thing to do. But maybe we'll introduce that next year and have it as more of like a, I don't know, the grand prize can be the best run or something. I don't know, but myself, I'd like to put a few runs in next year, now that the jumps are really where we want them to be. And I don't know, who knows? Maybe a series would be good, wouldn't it? Maybe a different one in Europe somewhere. We'll see. If anyone's got a mountain, we'd love to come check it out.
Perfect. Big thanks to Sam for that. make sure you check out the official DarkFest highlights edit, which is on the Monster Energy YouTube channel.
It is. Links in the show notes, everyone.
That's right, links in the show notes. Back to the show.
All right.
Well, that was
Hopefully we
good.
made it through that section. Hopefully we made it through that section. Who knows?
That was good, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that was good.
Good work, Ollie. I appreciate that, man. They did an amazing job and some incredible insights from Sam there.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
incredible insights. God, the pressure's on now. What a weird thing this is. They do that, don't they? In movies, they don't film it in a row, so the characters have to know the story. So, like, you could film the final scene first. How hard would that be if you were working on a movie? That'd be really tough, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would be. I've just done some filming, and we didn't record chronologically, and it screwed me up.
Very difficult,
and that was
isn't it?
That was just a little 1 minute thing.
Yeah,
it's hard as fuck.
1 minute, literally TikTok legs.
Yeah, and it was right hard. It was really difficult.
Wicked. Welcome to the ad break. This week is brought to you by DMR Bikes, my longest standing personal sponsor, and now a partner of The Ride Companion. I'm here to tell you about the all-new Speed Guide. Not only did I run the original, I also helped design the 2022 model that I have in my hand right here. Features include a thermoplastic chain cage, a 7075 aluminium backplate, and most importantly, actually it's not most importantly, but it is a feature, it's called MagLink. You can see these holes here, they're magnetized, so you can fit your split links on there, you never get caught short on the trail. All of that for only 30 Great British pounds. That's right, only £30 for the all new Speed Guide. Get yours on dmrbikes.com. Keep your chain on! Thank you very much for joining us on the ad. Now, back to the show.
Oh. Hey Ollie, have you got a lunch and learn for this week?
I do.
Do you want to do it?
I do have a lunch and learn. I feel like actually my chat on the fucking colon copter was quite good. It could have been a lunch and learn, but I now have one. I'm not gonna. Let me just get it ready first. But okay, I found it. I found the article.
Please.
This one is pretty ridiculous. This is not the most broad lunch and learn. I thought you know what I thought? Sometimes we pick like something that's just too big to discuss properly. So I thought I'd really get like hammer down to something way more niche.
Experts on something.
Yeah, there we go. We nearly were on the colon copter, the French colon copter. And now, can we get the stopwatch at the ready, dog?
I'm ready. 10 minutes, 23 seconds. 3, 2, 1, we're in. Let's learn.
War dolphins.
What?
War dolphins. The use of dolphins at war. What do you know about it? Has it happened?
I mean,
do you know anything about it?
What do you think I know about it?
Like, very little. But what do you think about it?
Little.
Like, how insane is the thought of this like animal? This is what made me think of it. The thought that this animal has like evolved on a separate path to us. It's been around approximately the same amount of time. It is intelligent life. It can learn and communicate with humans, which is bizarre. And what do? Get them on side and send them off to war. So
strap them up with an AK-47, chuck them in the sea, and hope for the best.
So believe it or not, this has happened for a long time. Shall I start reading?
Please, what are you reading from?
I'm reading from A Short History of War Dolphins. Do you want me to send you?
You know what I think? You know what I think's funny that they call them? They call them military marine mammal. I think that's great.
I mean, if there's not something more clear that we are the worst animal on earth, it is this, isn't it? Oh, look at that animal. It's a bit dumber than us.
Marine mammal.
Yeah, okay. Look at that animal. It won't put up a fuss. Let's send it to war. You know what I mean?
It won't fight back.
It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like football hooligans having attack dogs. It's just awful. We're just awful animals. Right, earlier this month, the Russian government announced it was looking to buy 5 combat dolphins. From where? I don't fucking know. eBay.rs? I have not a clue. 2 females and 3 males. Physically unblemished and in possession of perfect teeth. Naturally, Russia did not reveal what it was planning to do with the dolphins. You wouldn't, would you? That allowed the internet to have a field day speculating for what nefarious tasks these dolphins might be used, including recovering sunken torpedoes, killing enemy divers, or planting bombs. How awful is that? But Russia wasn't being serious, right? Well, actually, it probably was. For Russia, dolphin deployment is nothing new. During the Cold War, the country used these slippery soldiers. I do not like that. I don't like it that I just read that. I called him. I am not calling a dolphin a slippery soldier. That is too weird, but we'll carry on. The country used these slippery soldiers to do things like detect submarines, flag mines, and protect ships and harbours, according to retired Colonel Victor Baronet. In fact, countries have been enlisting these smart, adaptable creatures to perform underwater military tasks for more than 50 years, dude!
I mean, of course they have. Okay.
Also, you can't say enlisting. You can get fucked. As if they had a little fucking 3x3 easy up on the beach. You're right, dolphins. Anyone fancy a fucking war? It's bullshit. We're bad creatures. I don't like humans. Let me carry on. Let's be clear.
Filling out the form. Flipper.
This is awful. What are your thoughts on it so far? I don't know how much time we've got. I feel like I've talked too much.
I feel like it's made up, but it's probably not. And part of me's thinking...
No, it isn't made up.
Guard dogs. Part of me's thinking guard dogs. Quite, train it. They can look after, maybe, if you're at war, you've got like a bunker. You can put a guard dog outside. They're going to stop enemy forces coming in. That makes total sense. Do you need one in the ocean around a ship? That's what I'm thinking, and that seems to be what they're using them for, which does make a tiny little bit of sense, but at the same time, it's utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like the canary is used in the coal mine. Is that the term of expression? So I think animals being used at war is probably largely like that. It's like they're minesweepers, which is terrible as well. But I still like the idea of these being war dolphins and them actually doing something. So shall I carry on?
Please.
The story of America's war dolphins starts innocently enough. In 1960, military researchers wanted to design better missiles, and dolphins, graceful, lithe, aerodynamic in water, seemed like the perfect animal to imitate. However, upon examining female Pacific white-sided dolphin named Nottie, researchers quickly realised that dolphins weren't just well designed. Designed? What do you mean? They were also trainable. Like, this is so stupid. They're also trainable and adaptable and amenable to training. That led to other things. Oh, God. Someone get the peanut butter out. Is that what happened? Holy. Right, they learned that they could recover objects. They could dive up to 2,100 feet. But when it came to precision, no other cetacean, I don't know what that means, could outperform the dolphin.
No other mammal could outperform a dolphin.
Yeah. So
probably a human.
They were very easy to train. Navy dolphins are trained mainly in 2 tasks, neither of which involve combat. Okay, that makes it a bit better. First, they're taught to find underwater mines, often ones that are tricky to locate, half buried, and hundreds of meters deep. That makes sense, and it kind of suggests that it is what we're thinking. Like they're like sacrificial.
I want to
animals.
know if we have any in the UK. Do we own military?
They'd be freezing,
dolphins?
wouldn't they? No, we
do. Does it not make you feel bad though that we'll literally do anything to not do it ourselves?
It's absolutely horrible.
Yeah, totally.
Do you want to see a photo of a dolphin with its full gear strapped to it?
Yep. Yep, I do.
Here you are. Have a little scroll. And this is from the National Geographic, so I think it's
must be real.
Okay,
genuine photo. Now. If you scroll down a little
bit.
So
to our listeners, that cannot be a real photo. That cannot be right. Okay, to our listeners, this is a soldier on a boat and a dolphin jumping out of the water with what can only be described as a armband on that looks like it's got a gun scope, a camera.
Yeah, camera.
And scroll down a bit more, just like about halfway.
Okay. I'm scrolling.
There'll be another photo.
What the fuck?
Oh, what?
What's going on there?
What, that thing that's attached to its nose?
So that's a beluga whale, and it's marking a target. This is so sinister to me. This is so awful. Like animals to me are just especially intelligent animals, or animals like dolphins or like even a dog, dude. You see a dog with zoomies, you don't instantly just think, right, let's fucking strap a gun to it, do you? You know what I mean?
No,
Oh.
That's not why the song's called War Pigs, is it? We didn't use pigs for war, did we?
No.
No.
I don't know.
What?
Maybe, eh? So
military marine mammal. Wow,
The-
dude, I've learnt a lot, and I'm just scrolling through.
Okay, I've got a new
learning
one.
about how they train them and stuff.
Right, Richard L. Trout. Oh, pardon the pun. A civilian mammal trainer. Well, it's not really a pun because a trout isn't a mammal, but still it's an underwater creature. So I think it's funny. He was a civilian mammal trainer for the Navy from 85 to 89. He told the New York Times in 1990 that Navy dolphins were learning to kill enemy divers. How awful is that? But using dolphins for combat purposes just wouldn't make sense. So there you go. They're not trained to make decisions, so it'd be ridiculous to expect them to make choices underwater as to whether it's a friend or foe and what they should do about it. I mean, how would they kill him?
Here, check this out. So, after the fall of the Soviet Union, the Soviet military dolphin program was passed to the Ukrainian Navy. In March 2000, the BBC reported that the Ukrainian Navy had transferred their military dolphin project from Sevastopol to Iran. Iran bought the animals, and the chief trainer carried on his research at their new oceanarium. In 2012, Ukraine allegedly resurrected the military dolphin program. After the 2014 annexation of Crimea, the Ukrainian dolphin program was taken over by Russia. Maybe this is the start of some of the, stuff now. Conflicting statements have been made regarding the fate of the dolphins. One claim is that the program had been demilitarized prior to the annexation, with all military dolphins either sold commercially or dead of natural causes. A counterclaim suggested that dolphins died patriotically after going on hunger strikes and resisting their Russian captors. Wow. Russia reportedly intended to use advanced technology to visualize the dolphins' biosonar signals in future military dolphin research.
So it was more about the sonar they were just testing on them. But it looks like they have done, tragic. Like, you just sort of have to read, obviously everything's so secret, but you have to read between the lines, and like they have used dolphins in a military setting. That to me is
this
completely
is quite a recent one
bonkers.
Here as well. 2022 is just quite a recent story from Israel.
Really?
Yeah. So it says on Monday, January the 10th, 2022, Hamas, through a report by Al-Quds, suspects Israel of using dolphins for the purpose of targeting Hamas dive fighters. Similar accusations were made against Israel in August 2015 when Al-Quds claimed to have sources regarding another incident of cetacean fighter was equipped with a remote control, a camera, and a weapon that can fire harpoon-type projectiles.
What? So the dolphin was shooting divers?
Yeah. So they were putting harpoons and a camera. So maybe the camera's like a drone, like a VR thing, and the dolphin's under there. The guy can see it. Then he's just going like people.
He's just telling it what to do. Fire is like,
wow.
God, terrifying.
There you go. 2-1. That's the end of Lunch and Learn.
Wow. Was that a good Lunch and Learn? I don't know.
I like that you narrowed it down a little bit. I feel like I agree. We've been trying to cover topics that are a little bit too broad.
I mean, I find that sort of thing fascinating.
And if you'd have asked me what you'd have come up with, military marine mammal wouldn't have been one of them.
I still feel like we could talk about it for longer. I still feel like you brought up war pig. I still feel like there's more military animals that we need to cover. I feel like this could be a military mammal, a military animal podcast from now on, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows where it's going to go?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Who knows, man? It goes in different directions.
Yeah.
I mean, if people want to see more military mammals, please comment below. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe you've got a military mammal fact. Throw it in the comment section.
Please.
Open people's eyes to the military mammal.
Or maybe you've got a mammal yourself under your care and you've taught it amazing things. There was a mechanic for the, the Polygon team, UR team, and his collie could climb up a ladder, and I thought that was so amazing. It could do all of these different tricks. He pretended to shoot it, it would go on its back, and you just think, wow, that is
That's
That is
pretty
an
cool.
intelligent creature.
It is intelligent, but you wouldn't want to send it to war.
Definitely not. Just war in general, I'm not too keen on.
Yeah, true. You won't want to see
Yeesh.
Fair point. What else we got? Should we do some listener questions?
We could. I wanted to talk about X Games Best Whip from Tom Parsons because you sent me the link.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I did.
You sent me the link,
Dude,
and
kind of disappointing though that there's not much content coming out of X Games
Yeah,
Japan. Maybe it's
tough.
because they're still editing it. I don't know, but there's not been much content. Again, this is like this perfect thing of the only way you can find out about this event is go through various social media channels.
Yeah.
Not even the X Games one.
Is that
You look
because
at
it's
Tyler
behind a
Berman,
paywall?
Axel Hodges. I don't know. I've not looked into it enough myself, but I think it's literally that it's not been broadcast here.
yeah,
And the YouTube stuff maybe hasn't caught up yet. Some of it's on there, but none of the moto stuff's on there yet.
yeah.
So the only way I've figured out what's going on is through social media. We've just been trying to keep an eye on it, and
I mean, it's largely how you consume a lot anyway, isn't it? Like, you know, I don't know, but I'm glad that you sent me the Best Whip because the Best Whip is the one that I seek out, and it's funny that it's the one that I seek out because in theory it's like the least like. Okay, so a whip is just a whip, right?
yeah,
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's more than
No.
that, isn't it? It's like it's become so refined, and people. How crazy it is! He's trained for his whole year for this, really, hasn't he?
totally. And what's interesting about Tom Parsons is he rode a gas, and I don't think he's a gas rider. So it's a borrowed bike
Right.
that he's rocked up on, and he's just thrown one down, and he's beat all the guys. You know, like he's not a gas rider. I don't think he just turned up and gave it a shot.
It's like he's worked the optimal shape out because that looks completely insane. The bike kind of goes. It's really worth looking up. Hopefully, we can get the link in the show description if we can even find it. But the bike kind of looks like when he's coming back round from it looks like he's coming out round from a backflip or something, doesn't it? With his bars, like it's so insane to me. I wish you could do it on a mountain bike.
Yeah, what's is that possible on a mountain bike?
No,
That
I don't
style
think so.
of whip, it just because they don't come back.
No, I think
He's not
Caden.
got the inertia of a motor.
Yeah, Cade and Chaos give it a good go, but I don't think
yeah,
it's
they
possible. I think it's the weight of a tyre and having a motor that you can spin it up with. It's like you have you can control the centrifugal force, whereas you can't really do that on a mountain bike. I mean, you could pedal, you could get yourself backwards, and then you could just crank through the gears. But I don't think it'd come back, and you run the risk of looking like a bit of a nutter.
True. But dude, people said this shit. Look at Best Whip from 5 years ago, and look what the moto guys are doing to how it is now. Even from that short time span, they're so different.
I'll send you a video,
And again,
dude, of the perfect
Please.
example of when you do something and you think it's one thing, and it just turns out it's not. So I do this shape off this jump up at the trails I was at on the weekend, and in my head it feels like I'm, like Bearman or Hodges or Hanny. They turn up. It feels like that. It feels like what that might feel like. And you see a video of it, you're like, it looks nothing like it. It doesn't matter because it feels like it, and I keep doing it because I like the feeling. But that's how far we are from actually being able to whip. It's like you think you've done something.
Can you imagine
mental.
that feeling of just turning off and turning the wrong way, going up? Oh my days!
I mean,
So
I watched Bearman's movie after you suggested it, and it's really cool. But I don't understand how he can control it because up the lip, it's like he has to create a swap on. He turns
almost get out
twice,
of control. And bring it back.
Pings the bike. Oh, that must be quite the feeling. Must be quite the feeling, dude. And just also, you just
with
wring
the bike
its
up
neck
above
as
you,
well.
just hanging off
it.
Mate.
Coming in. Wow.
It's so sick.
What nerds.
But it's like so, but it's so different. It's good. Like you said, it's interesting to watch. I've not seen much other best whips from X Games, but Axel probably don't whip the same as what Parsons is whipping.
Yeah.
They all have their own little tweak on it.
It's cool, isn't it?
A turn down, a turn up. But ultimately that's the one that seems to be. He won the one at Axel Hodges' house, Tom Parsons, didn't he? So he won the last one, and he's just won the one in Japan
Pretty
too.
crazy, isn't it? Pretty crazy. Let me get your live reaction, okay? So, maybe.
Yeah.
So, okay. So this is me sending Davey.
Where is it?
So this is me sending Davey a clip of something that I swear when I'm on the bike makes me feel like I'm like Axel Hodges or Bearman or Hanny doing a fat turn up. This clip.
Okay, got it.
This is
and we're gonna bring. Should we bring it up? Can we bring it up as well? Ben,
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
think?
Yeah, Ollie pings it across.
Yeah,
sure.
this is-
Yeah, it's.
I want to see your
Okay, here we go.
I
I'm
want to
gonna
see
press
how
play.
underwhelmed you are. I'm not setting you up for being underwhelmed, but I want to see your. So don't press play. Do it slow motion. So it should be the first jump that comes into view.
Okay, here we
Yeah.
go. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that sounds
Alright.
like when a
Yeah,
child does a
it took me by
bad drawing.
surprise.
A child does a
It
bad
took me by
drawing.
surprise. It was
In-
right there, dude.
in-
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
But it's not it.
There's
Dude. It's not it.
There's a certain shape that you're in here where you have got at 1 second in.
It's
You
so
have
frustrating.
got the whole. The bike's up here. It's above you, and the left shoulder is looking down.
Yeah.
The head's probably looking down too. I bet that feels nice like that, dude. I'll be honest.
This
But
is
I
where
know what you're saying.
This is where a parent is nice
trying
to
to
you
be
about
nice.
your bad drawing of a horse.
Yeah,
It
I'm
is.
trying to be nice, and it is. It's not stylish.
What
but I know what
doesn't-
you're saying.
yeah,
Like,
what
it's
doesn't
not
matter-
it's not the thing.
Yeah. What doesn't matter is that it feels really great, and I'll continue to do it. But you know, the first time you do it, and you think, "This is it. I'm getting the hang of it," and then you see the
Yeah.
video, and you're like, "It's not it,"
You're gonna
and I'm not
revolutionise.
getting the hang of it. Yeah. Like the biggest. Wow, wow, wow. What can you do?
Yeah.
I'm not Axel Hodges.
Yeah.
I'm not Tyler
It's
Demon.
funny,
and I'm
dude, because
not Josh Anderson.
when I used to do it jump a lot more, I used to have a very similar thing, and I'd try and there was a perfect left-handed. Was it a left-handed hip? I don't really
Yeah.
know if it's a hip or not. It's like a jump, but the landing's to the left-hand side, so you jumped over to it. And it was a similar thing where you could hang off and really try and get
Yeah.
the thing up to the top of the landing. And I thought it looked insane. And then you see a photo or something, and you're just
So
like,
disappointing. Yeah.
It's so difficult to be
disappointing.
stylish like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that when I see mountain bikers putting in their moto riding in their video segments, because in your head you're just like, fucking dude, I am actually the shit on a motorcycle. I'm really good, and you see the video and you're just like, it's just not it.
Just bum whips.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just not it. What can you do?
Yeah, what can you do?
Brilliant.
We're all trying to make it in this world.
Absolutely.
There's something else I was going to mention, but it's it doesn't really matter. But I found it interesting. There was a guy called Robbie Bollinger who's challenged himself to run further than a Tesla. So the vibe was the
No
Tesla had
way.
a full tank of electricity, and it set
Yeah.
off from a point in Austin, Texas, and it got 242 miles away. And then this guy challenged himself that in 72 hours he would run further than that Tesla, and he did it. He did manage to do it. He ran 243 miles, I believe it was, in 72 hours.
Goodness. What's it proved?
There you go.
Because
Nothing.
No, I was kind of with it for a second, but then I thought, well,
I don't
what's
really
good
know
about
what
that?
he was trying to prove. I don't know if it was for a charity.
So it's
I
range.
really don't know.
But then in 72, it doesn't really matter about the range if the Tesla can just recharge and then go again.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know what he was trying to.
Interesting,
what he was
no?
trying to-
Good on him. That's
But
a
he did
long
it
way.
in,
I'm not saying
in
yeah.
the heat as well. He did it in
Wow.
red hot in Austin, really hot. Blah,
Good
blah,
on him.
blah.
Wow, we. Should we do some listener questions?
Yeah, please.
I do love listener
Let's do
questions.
some. Yeah, I like listening questions
Yeah.
as well. Let me just get it back on screen.
I'd love.
Okay, see what
I
we've
feel
got.
like we need to push our listeners to do more video
Please.
submissions because I
Should we set
really
up the
would
phone
enjoy
number?
that. Yeah, we should, shouldn't we?
I can do that. I can do a phone number. I think by this episode we can put a
Or an email.
phone email. The upload is just too clunky. I feel like
Is
if it's
it?
on your phone, it's just
Yeah, that's what we need. Yeah.
easy to do. So we're going to do a UK number and WhatsApp your content to this number. So video, we want to see some videos. You can do
And
audio
this
if you
can
want to send
be
an audio
anything.
message.
This can be like how-to advice. Like maybe you've got a crash that you want to break down. This can be this can be like a love line type thing. You can talk about your relationship problems. This can
Dating
even
advice, we've
be
done that.
advice on war dolphins. We can do anything you want.
Okay, so we're going to put a new phone number. Don't expect replies. Probably going to be really difficult to manage it. But just send your content to this number. and then we'll turn the phone on every week and we'll see what's in the WhatsApp. How about that?
Perfect.
All right. Okay, here we go. Listener questions. Let's see what we've got. Days! Crack a cold one, dude.
You just crack one. I'll have one as well.
Yeah, let's crack one, man. Listen up, Ollie. The sun is starting to shine again, and it's time to get our days back. We have made our way through the cold and dreary months of a UK winter, and now it's time to start making the most of the longer days, the sun, and the dry trail conditions.
Dude, I can't wait. I love it when it's sunny out, and I can go on 2, sometimes even 3 rides in a day. That's right, I'm a 3 rider. Sometimes I'm a triple dipper. What can I say?
But what don't you want, dude? You're going to be out there having fun, making the most of your days, but what don't you want?
Well, when you're triple dipping, you can't be wasting any of your day. So I'm not gonna be lying in bed hungover, feeling sorry for myself, Davey. That's what I'm not gonna be doing, dude.
And me either, dude. We're trying to be better people these days, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Making the most of each moment.
That's right. So that's why we have partnered with the legends at Days Brewing. Days makes beer for doing. There's nothing better than having a cold one at the end of a long day when you're out doing fun stuff, or even when you're recording a podcast, man. There's nothing better than cracking a cold Days.
Cheers, mate. Cheers
But
to that.
sometimes you don't want to feel the effects of alcohol, or maybe you don't want to drive home after enjoying one too many beers with your friends.
No, absolutely. The cool thing about Days is that it's 100% alcohol free. That's right. 0.0000000% alcohol free.
Wow. That's incredible.
It is.
Tell me more.
Well,
Tell me more.
basically, it's naturally double fermented to create a balanced flavour with an incredible aroma. Sniff it now.
Smells incredible, man,
Doesn't it?
to be fair.
That's because it's only made of natural ingredients. It's plant-based, so it's ideal for the vegan members, and it's brewed in Scotland using locally sourced water and ingredients. Days also gives 2% of its sales to organisations that empower fresh thinking towards mental health, mirroring the duty that alcohol companies pay the government as tax. There's also the fact that Days are a B Corp, which means they're like sustainable and stuff.
That's incredible to hear, man.
Yeah.
What a company.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's why we partner with them. We only partner with the best people, man. We only come at these our listeners with the right stuff.
Dude, honestly, it's like having a beer but without the downsides.
Really
Yeah,
is.
it is.
So let's do a little deal for our podcast family members, shall we, my man? Let's line them up, link them up, hook it up. Here's what we're going to do for the podcast family, Ollie. Head to daysbrewing.com.
Is that daysbrewing.com?
Select a few. daysbrewing.com.
Thank you.
Select a few beers. Personally, I recommend the taster pack or the mixed pack. Yeah. Either or. Both are good. Get a couple of each. Enter the code TRC Days.
TRC Days?
TRC Days.
Okay.
And that is going to knock off a whopping 15%.
Are you serious?
15% off beer?
Sounds alright.
Holy. Sounds
Let's
alright
get
to me
out
as well,
there
mate.
and make the most of our days, folks.
Let's get out there. Cheers, Days.
Cheers.
Oats and cats and dancing.
Listener questions. That was alright, man. I'm impressed. We've got at Ali Reed 20. Odub, you've been at the cycle show this week. Who was your favourite person you saw?
Oh, there was so many lovely people. I've already talked about it. I probably sound... It's just so nice to actually just bump into people that I've never met, and they've got such nice things to say about. And it goes back to what we were talking about, the coming out the other side of everyone being locked inside and all of that. They're just really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice to meet all of you. I got to meet meet up with Hans Ray. I thought that was very cool that he was at the cycle show.
That's cool.
I got to hang out a little bit with the Athertons. Hung out with Dan Atherton, obviously with you. Dan Atherton is one of my favourite riders of all time, so it's always cool to hang out with Dan and hear about what he's been up to. What else? Matt Jones was there. Always wicked to hang out with him and talk to him about his latest project, which is blowing up, by the way. Not that it was ever going to not, but he's kind of bought a Teletubby land plot and is building trails on it, and it is the dream. Matt's living it. He's killing it. So yeah, it's cool to hang out with him. But yeah, bit of everything really. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Nice. Yeah, it was nice. Okay, we got at Max Mitchell, best hairstyle for under a trail helmet. Best hairstyle for under a trail helmet.
Aren't mullets really in at the moment? I feel like
mullet's pretty cool hanging out the back of a trail helmet.
Bro, you tell us. You know more than us, Benny. I think Benny's our resident youth style consultant of cool. That's quite a good title.
Do any of the kids do like the hair out the front of a dirt jump helmet with like maybe a bit of a quiff? You know what they do with the hats?
What, like we got like strange
Olly's
looking like
just there,
round
like that, like that, like that.
That's so stupid.
Oh, does it? Oh, does it?
That was terrible.
I like a little bit of hair out the side of a helmet. I'm not going to lie.
Do you? You like the look of it?
Yeah, I like a little hair.
I never really thought about my hair in a helmet. It sort of feels like the helmet covers up my hair. So, but
it's a very Gen Z question that.
But then a mullet does get around it. I actually got a listener question, and it was from DV, and he wanted to talk about thoughts on earrings on men, and I kind of feel like this fits in the same thing. He wanted to know my thoughts on earrings, and honestly, I'd never thought about earrings. I've never thought about getting an earring, and I feel like it's probably more in Benny's court. What about earrings as well?
Yeah, do it. Get your cartilage done up here.
Yeah,
get the 1s, your 2s done.
Yeah,
yeah.
But what
I had the double pierced. I had them double pierced back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand you can do all of it, but why do you do? Why? This is
style.
I feel like DV's coming from the same angle as me. I don't really understand it. I don't know what
Just a bit different, isn't it? It's just a bit of a
different
accessory. It's accessory.
Peacocking.
It's like wearing bracelets.
You're peacocking. All right, yeah, got you. It's peacocking.
Peacocking.
Yeah, I feel you.
What's peacocking? What? We like stand out.
Yeah, you got your tail out. You're showing him your stuff.
And that's the thing, like when you know, Benny, if you're single and stuff and you're coming up through the game and you're trying to get your numbers up, you want to stand out in a club a little bit. So maybe you want to, for me,
face tattoos.
It was always like, I used to, face tattoo. Yeah. Always used to wear a hat. People didn't used to wear hats. Or I've always worn a hat, backwards hat,
Fair.
you know. Ladies would be like, he looks like an extreme rad kind of dude.
Yeah.
I bet he's great in bed.
I think
he's not.
I reckon you find it'd be rare for people not to have piercings these days.
Is it? Yeah. Have you got piercings then?
No, I never got one.
No.
I don't think I'd suit them.
Have you not?
No.
I had my ears done. I had the cartilage done in that ear.
Nice.
Sometimes rep a nose ring.
Yeah, that's a common one to do.
Yeah, those are pretty common. What about tattoos? You got tattoos, Benny?
No, I really want one, but I don't actually have any yet.
What are you going to get? Like a triangle or something? That's what I can imagine, or like a feather or something like really, really,
no, I
really
want a dolphin.
A dolphin? A war? Are you going to get a war dolphin?
No, legit,
are you seriously going to get a war dolphin?
Not a war dolphin, but I do want a dolphin.
Yeah, but
why?
How did you know it's not a war dolphin?
Well, it could be.
If you get a dolphin, dude, it'll forever be a war dolphin to me.
Yeah. Well, there we are. Maybe we'll get a dolphin.
What, Benny? Where would you get your tattoo? Where are you getting a war dolphin tattoo?
Well,
is it? There you go. And what does a dolphin represent?
I don't know. I swam with them in New Zealand. I've always wanted one.
I've heard it's like one of the craziest things.
If that helps
to do.
Really, it used to be your nickname, David the Dolphin.
Nickname, yeah. No, it's just dolphin.
They used to call him the slippery soldier.
Yeah, good one.
I'm getting tattooed next week.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
What are you getting?
Yeah, just I'm getting a leg band around my leg. Like I've always wanted this, like a relatively thick band around my right leg.
Nice.
And I'm getting some text on my wrist, just on my right wrist, just at the side. One of my favourite little quotes is going on there.
Nice.
So I'd love to get a quote, but I just don't know if I could.
I'm sure you could. You could probably pull it off.
Why do you worry it'd be
quote.
like
a Logan Paul quote or something?
No, I've got a quote. I've got a quote in mind. I just don't know if I could actually pull it off.
I got a few. I like them. I think if there's something that sticks with you, I got a few on my body.
Are you willing to say your quote, Benny?
Yeah.
Live on air.
You mustn't be afraid. You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
That was quite long.
Yeah.
Who said it?
It was Tom Hardy in Inception.
Oh, there you go.
I like it. I've got on my side. I've got jump. You might fall. You might fly. Because I've always loved that.
Sick.
And then I'm having follow your bliss on my wrist.
Yeah,
I always
got
want
loads,
to be able to look
haven't
at
you?
it.
Yeah.
I got a few tattoos. Not a lot, but enough.
Nice.
Oh,
Like
what would you have? Just like wank it or something written down the side?
Well, so say again, Benny, please. I just want you to have a bit of space around that last. Comment. It's nice to have you contribute to the podcast, but can we just have a little bit of time, and then you ask me that again, please. All right.
Wank it.
On your right wrist.
Yeah, good one. I think it's time we move on, guys.
Wow. Okay. At Match Poll, can you talk about breathing exercises you've mentioned in the past? I guess that sounds like my thing. If we've ever talked about that, it's probably me. I don't. Yeah, I'll take that one. Breathing. Breathing exercises. Yeah, so for me, I do like doing the Wim Hof breathing exercise. It's a pretty simple breathing exercise where you do 30 deep inhales and exhales, and then you hold for as long as you can. Once you can't hold any longer, you let all the way out, and then you do 15 seconds in. Pretty simple one. If you want to do one that's just going to alleviate a little bit of stress, anxiety and stuff, there's something called square breathing. So you breathe in for 4 seconds, out for 4 seconds, and then you keep repeating. In and out, 4 seconds, 4 seconds, and you do it like you're doing a square. So in, out, and you draw a square in your mind. But yeah, tons more. I mean, I'm not the guy to go to for breathing exercises. I don't think. I do like doing them. You can do holistic breathing on YouTube. You can do various stuff like that. So there you go. Enjoy.
With the square breathing, is that to like really make you like concentrate on just?
Yeah, it's a military breathing tactic. So they use it, if you're holding a gun or anything like that, and it's sort of like a really steady breathing pattern. But also they do it if you've been like running and then you've got to stop and do something. So a lot of those like people, I don't know, is it pentathlon where you do the run and then you stop and then you shoot a target? Yeah. So a lot of that stuff, it's like getting control of your breathing quickly by doing 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out, and then you do that, and it brings everything down to a level apparently pretty quickly.
It's crazy how much like militaries come up again in terms of like developing stuff, ideas, drugs, weapons, technology. It's amazing how much comes from the military, isn't it? It's like you quite often get a weird link to like, oh yeah, that we developed that for snipers, or we did a lot. Yeah, totally. I guess it's cutting edge
materials and stuff.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's like come from military into biking? I know it seems like a weird one. Is there any designs?
But I mean, there's probably loads, dude. In terms of like manufacturing.
Oil saddle.
Yeah, the oil saddle, camo. Yeah.
There probably is, dude. I bet some. They often say, don't they, like aero or military grade steel or alley or something.
I'm currently looking at a coating that's largely used on guns for a product for DMR. Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really quite often that stuff is developed for other reasons, and the other reasons
it's a shame it's developed for war, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But I guess it is like the purest competition in a weird way. It sounds really horrible, but it's like life and death isn't really one that you want to have the best shit. A lot of
outdoor equipment, when you're looking at outdoor equipment, and you can get it quite, a good price. There's a lot of I was looking at bivvy bags and stuff not long ago, and there's all these brands that do like a bivvy bag at like 300 quid, 400 quid, like they're crazy expensive. But then like a military one's like 40, and it like outperforms all of them.
Yeah.
And maybe it's used or something. But I don't know, but it's interesting that they're sort of ahead of the curve with all that sort of technology, aren't
definitely. Yeah, it's crazy.
They've got to be.
Crazy.
Benjamin Aris 4. Dating age gap. How much difference is acceptable?
Oh, it's a great question. We've got a couple of guys around the same age, and we got Benny, so you're going to get 2 answers on that. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? When you see, like, I went for a meal with, like, a Russian billionaire or something. It was by accident. It was when I was in Indonesia again. I went and had Thanksgiving with this guy. He's apparently, like, crazy rich. And he was in his probably late 60s, and he had a 22-year-old model girlfriend. Oh. To me, I don't know. Maybe there is that connection, but it just seemed weird. But maybe it only seemed weird because I knew that money was involved, or I knew that he was rich. Maybe it's completely unfair.
Yeah. As long as the age gap is for the right reasons, like there's no reason why a 20-year-old can only fall in love with a 20-year-old. Maybe they can find a connection and a deep personal connection with a 50-year-old.
Yeah.
As long as it's not for the wrong reasons, I can't see any issue with it myself.
No, absolutely. No, I agree.
It must be I've never been in that situation, but I can imagine, for example, if I was with a girl who was older than my mum and you went round for dinner, I feel like that might be a bit weird because they'd be like, "Oh, do you remember Bagpuss?" And my mum would be like, yeah. And I'd be like, "I don't remember any of this shit." Do you know what I mean?
Do you remember the storm of 87?
Yeah, not really, but they would. Nope. I think that would be a bit weird.
It's only weird if you make it weird, isn't it, really?
Yeah, you could probably have some fun
with it.
But
you say that. But you would think differently of me if my girlfriend was super young, wouldn't you? Naturally.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Benny, what are your thoughts, dog?
I'd have to agree with you, to be honest. I don't think it really makes a difference.
There we go. Good.
No. Yeah. There you go. I'd love to know why this Benjamin Harris has sent that question. Has he dated an old person?
I bet the helicopters are on
a young person.
Yeah, I bet the helicopters are on their way over as we speak.
What else we got? Okay, good question. Lewis Murphy. How, if any, have your day jobs changed now the podcast has grown?
Well, that's a really good question, isn't it?
I like that. Thank you, Lewis. Coming through there pretty hot.
Yeah.
Do you want to take it, Ollie? Or
no, you go, Davey. I'd like to hear.
I'll give you my... So my job has changed significantly over the last few years. I used to spend 5 days a week out on the road visiting bike shops and stuff. Now that side of the industry has changed significantly because people have come a bit more used to doing stuff over virtual meetings and Teams and this and that and the other. So that side of it has changed, but I do now carve out at least a day and a half out of my whole calendar to work on the podcast because it needs that attention. It does need it. Like it needs to be somewhat regular, and I enjoy it as well. Yeah. And in all honesty, like it was. I think through lockdown it was easy, weren't it? Because we were like at home anyway. Whereas now it's like we actually do seem to carve out a good few hours, at least minimum, on a Monday or a Tuesday to sit and record a podcast. So it's changed in the way that I take it a lot more seriously. I used to do the podcast was way more of a sort of hobby for me. It was something that I'd do in the evenings. But now, been real as well, a little bit more money's probably involved. So it's got to be taken a bit more seriously if you're dealing with people's marketing budgets and, having sponsors involved. So yeah, it's taken a bit more seriously through that. It has changed quite a lot in that respect. I think I've hopefully summed up that quite nicely.
Very well indeed.
We've probably both seen a little bit more value in taking it a bit more seriously.
Yeah,
here we are.
I think probably the same for you. Well, what you just said, like in terms of it being part of your routine, like it's like every Monday I know I'm doing a podcast. So obviously this comes out on Wednesday, but we record on a Monday, and every Monday I kind of have that in mind. So that's cool. And the other thing is, I feel like in terms of my role as an ambassador for these brands, I feel like it's like added an extra string to my bow. And I feel like the people that I meet that listen to the podcast really do know who I am. And that's very cool. And I get to meet you all at bike parks or wherever we go riding. And the conversations I have tend to be 0 to 60 about stuff like war dolphins or about...
war crimes.
War crimes or my Great Dane statue or any one of these funny moments that we have in the podcast, and it is very cool. So
yeah, for sure. No, it's cool. Great question, Lewis. I appreciate that.
Nice
man. It's nice to see that. Hopefully, you noticed that we have changed a little bit, and that the thing is a little bit more structured, and it is a little bit more professional, as though we try and not keep it too professional.
Trying a little bit. Yeah.
Although this last segment of 20 minutes within this podcast might prove otherwise. We'll see. Okay. Durf MTB, one for Olly. What forks do you run on the dirt jumper? Straight steerer forks are becoming harder to come by.
Yeah, I actually have a tapered steerer, so mine, I'm not the best to ask, but I have X Fusion slants down to 100 mil of travel. They're not really particularly, they're not like a massive stanchion or anything, and they're not really dirt jump specific, but they do the job great. Benny, you run the same, don't you? Oh, no, you don't.
No,
you run different.
I got straight cut.
Yeah,
I got straight cut ones.
Anyway, but yeah, so mine are actually tapered.
I got X Fusions.
You X Fusion as well. There you go. So yeah. I run those on my dirt jump bike, and they're great. I've never really had any problems with my dirt jump bike. I mean, it's really I literally just have the same bike for so long, and I don't change anything on it, and it makes me wonder actually whether you should, whether it gets to a certain point with like your handlebars, for instance, whether they do fatigue after over 10 years. I don't know.
They bed in.
It's a bit of a weird thought. Like working in product design and stuff, you realise that. So, for instance, on a titanium axle vault, there is a weight limit. We have to publish the weight limit. That feels bad, right? You both feel that feels like, ugh. Every product has a weight limit. You just don't publish it.
Yeah, true.
Every single product you have has a weight limit, and how scary it'd be to be like. And then also, every product has a fatigue cycle, and it will get to a point where it does need replacing, like handlebars, for instance. You probably should replace your handlebars after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, think how much stress and force is going through the handlebars that you don't even really think about.
Exactly, it's creepy.
Every time you ride your bike.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to get, like going to Focus headquarters where they've got the testing machines. I always find that insane. They've got these like machines just warping handlebars and stuff like that. It'd be interesting being an engineer, wouldn't it? There's elements of that.
Sure. They do a lot of that in Sheffield, A lot of the sports testing and stuff's done in Sheffield.
Yeah, there you go. It's those crash test dummies on your favourite car are quite crazy, aren't they? Like, obviously, they can get away with doing a lot via computer nowadays, but they still have to test front on collision. I don't know exactly what, but they still have to do a certain number of crashes before they can release a car or whatever. So,
I wonder if, we were talking about the guy who had to sit in the Bell aeroplane. I wonder if they had to do that with cars. Like, there had to be a guy who was like, right, I'll drive it into a wall for you and see how it works.
So,
it must have been.
Because I watched something on the Bell ship, they did. They had one prototype. They didn't have loads. They had one prototype. So when he brought it up to however high up, and then he had to bail because it was in the moment where it transferred to horizontal flight, he had to bail. He ejected. That was a major setback because they then had to completely rebuild the prototype, and they had to rebuild it to the same level but with an improvement. Do you see what I mean? They can't just build a new one. They have to build it to the same base level, so they know it's going to behave in the same way. Well,
exactly the same
it's
way.
interesting.
How interesting.
Yeah.
Why is it called a guinea pig, do you think?
Oh, good question. Benny, can you look that up?
Why is it called a guinea pig?
Yeah, that is a really great question. There must be...
Talking about animals.
I guess it's animal testing. That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
But why specifically the guinea pig? They're lovely creatures, guinea pigs. That's all. Most of my communication with my girlfriend is just she sends me videos of guinea pigs that she finds cute.
Right.
That's largely...
She wants one?
Yeah, desperately, yeah.
Really? Oh, that's all right.
Loves guinea
pigs.
pigs.
A little guinea pig.
Loves them.
Yeah. Little guinea.
I think you're basically right. It's one subjected to experiment, basically.
Okay, there you go. So it's just animal testing. Makes that a bit more of a sinister term, doesn't it? Yeah, I'll guinea pig this jump as you throw acid on a small furry creature.
Put eyeliner on it and see what happens.
God, this guinea pig looks really low grade. Poor guinea pig. You had to try it
out. At Richie Biker, do you think there's any correlation between stance on a bike and the side your knob hangs?
Oh, great question. Yeah, to which side you dress to. I wonder. Yeah. So I think more people dress to the left. We had this as a fact on the podcast. That's probably why.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I ride right foot forward and the hog goes to the right too.
Okay, so
That's great for turns because the weight is very much
counterbalance.
On the right hand side.
Yeah, there you go. That's great.
Very much on the right hand side.
It's a good. Actually, like foot position it always comes up, doesn't it? Because left foot forwards is regular, right foot forwards is goofy. Yeah. But then I feel like more people ride right foot forwards.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I'd say you go right-handed, right feet.
And then if you
use your right hand.
Yeah. And there doesn't seem to be correlation between which is your favourite way to turn either, because I'm regular, I'm left foot forwards, and I like turning to the right if I spin.
Okay.
But that's
so you're what, left foot forwards?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then I spin to the right, which is the right way, or in theory that's like a standard way, because then you table in your spin, it would make sense. Do you see what I mean?
If you table, your natural table is to the right.
It'll go against my left shoulder if I could get it on my left shoulder.
Go against your left shoulder.
Yeah.
Right, of course.
Yeah, because then you'd be spinning right and then you'd table that way.
Right.
But then I've done bar spins in the past and I've thrown the wrong direction.
So if you're bar spinning, you're right-handed, so you throw right bar first in.
Yeah. So I'm right-handed. That always made sense to me. I throw with my right hand, but I should throw with my left hand and catch with my right, because I spin to the right. You want to bar spin the opposite way. There's a lot of conversation that goes on up the dirt jumps for this kind of stuff, but there's and obviously there is no right and wrong way, but it does change how you do things. Like certain people do different things, like a 360 turn down or a 360 look back. It depends which way your feet are, how it would work on a BMX.
Yeah. This Vanta Jam tomorrow, is this a